Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we unravel the mysteries of the corporate world. Today, we are diving into Xilio Therapeutics' annual report. And let me tell you, after reading this, I feel like I need a tumor-activated decoder ring just to understand their financial situation. But seriously, Xilio is a biotech company trying to create cancer treatments that are more effective and less toxic. Let's see what the report has to say about their progress and if they can make it. First, a little hook, the report has a risk factor summary, which is essentially a list of everything that could go wrong. And the very first item is a big one. Our recurring losses from operations raise substantial doubt regarding our ability to continue as a going concern. In simpler terms, they are losing money, and there is a big question if they will have enough money to keep running the business. That is not a great start. So how do they plan to solve this going concern problem? Well, they have a few product candidates in the works. This report focuses on Vilastobart, XTX301, and some earlier stage programs like XTX501 and masked T-cell engagers. Let's start with Vilastobart, their most advanced product. It's designed to fight tumors by blocking a protein called CTLA4. They are testing it in combination with another drug to treat microsatellite stable colorectal cancer, or MSS-CRC. They presented some initial data in January which showed some promising results. However, the road ahead for this drug is murky because, based on these initial data, they need a partner to continue development. Why is their drug different? Well, Xilio claims their masking technology makes Vilastobart selectively activated at the tumor site, thus minimizing toxic side effects. Let's move on to their next product. Next up is XTX301, an engineered interleukin-12 or IL-12 therapy. IL-12 is a cytokine that is designed to stimulate the immune system to attack cancer. However, IL-12 has historically caused severe adverse events when given systemically. So again, the masking technology comes in. They licensed this one to Gilead, a big pharmaceutical company. This is pretty important for the business's stability, as getting their partners to pay for development would solve their going concern issue. Again, Xilio claims their masking technology makes XTX301 selectively activated at the tumor site, thus minimizing toxic side effects. Finally, XTX501 is still in preclinical development, and they are hoping to submit an IND in the middle of 2026. Just like the other ones, it is supposed to only be activated in the tumor area and reduce those side effects. Now for their T-cell engager programs. T-cell engagers are a type of immunotherapy designed to redirect immune cells to kill cancer cells. Again, because they are masked, the side effects should be reduced. Now, a huge part of this report was about a new agreement with AbbVie. The deal covers up to 4 programs, including masked T-cell engagers and a masked antibody-based immunotherapy. Xilio got $52 million upfront and could get up to $2.1 billion more if everything goes according to plan. That is great for solvency, but they are giving away control of potential future revenue. Speaking of getting cash, AbbVie also bought some of Xilio's stock at $2.30 per share. In connection with this agreement, they also got some negotiating power. As long as AbbVie holds the stock, Xilio needs to get AbbVie's blessing before entering into any kind of agreement that would transfer control of the company. In comparison, remember the earlier Gilead deal? As part of that deal, Gilead bought a bunch of Xilio's stock as well, a little over 15 million split up into different purchases. This one, however, does not have as many restrictions or benefits. Also, Gilead may terminate the agreement. Now, who are they up against? Turns out, quite a few companies, both big and small, are working on similar cancer treatments. For the CTLA4 program, Yerva and Imjudo are already approved treatments, plus other companies are in development. For the IL-12 program, Xilio is competing with Cullinan, Dragonfly, and a bunch of others. And for the PD-1 IL-2 program, Anavin, Innovent, Regeneron, and Roche are also in the mix. For T-cell engagers, names like Amgen and Zenker are developing therapies that may have different targets but similar goals. Intellectual property is everything to a biotech company, so let's see what they have. They own, co-own, or exclusively license 18 patent application families, covering everything from the composition of matter to methods of use. This is good, and the patent expiration dates are pretty far out, but it is just an application, so this is not a certainty. They also rely on trade secrets. Now, how are these drugs made? Xilio outsources manufacturing to contract development and manufacturing organizations, or CDMOs. They do not own or plan to build their own manufacturing facilities. So they are relying on third parties for actually making the product. Of course, government regulation is a big part of the story. The FDA approval process is long and complex. Preclinical studies, IND applications, clinical trials, and then finally the BLA or Biologics License application. It is a multi-year process with no guarantee of success. And the thing to keep in mind, Phase 1 trials don't guarantee success in Phase 3. They may require additional clinical trials. The report then goes over all the different types of meetings you can have with the FDA, as well as going over topics such as expanded access pediatric studies. Let's move on to see what this all leads to potential for revenue and earnings. Even if a drug is approved, there is no guarantee that insurance companies or government programs like Medicare will cover it, or that they will reimburse it at a price that makes sense for the company. This is a huge factor in whether a drug is commercially successful. The pricing for drugs is also highly scrutinized. The Inflation Reduction Act could limit the prices Xilio can charge for drugs covered by Medicare. All of these factors will continue to add pressure on prices. Alright, let's talk about the finances. I promise to make it easy. Let's scroll down to the income statement. In 2024, Xilio had total revenue of $6.3 million. But operating expenses are high. Research and development, or R&D, cost them $41.2 million, which leads to a net loss of $58.2 million. So while they do have partnerships to help offset costs, they are definitely losing money. And that makes their ability to continue as a going concern definitely not a guarantee. Let's scroll down to stockholders' equity. As of the end of 2024, their accumulated deficit, or total losses since inception, was $383.8 million. Clearly, they need to either bring in more cash or cut their expenses or both. To take a look, their cash flow from operations was negative at $18.4 million. As of December 31, 2024, they have about $55 million in cash. Based on the filing, plus a bit of the upfront money from AbbVie, they will have enough to keep running until the first quarter of 2026. So they have some time to show more progress and get more partnerships. What are the risks in all this? Well, there's a whole section in the report on that, starting with protection of their intellectual property. If they cannot protect their product with a patent, or if the patent they get is not good enough, competitors could steal their work, which would have a huge impact. Also, relying on trade secrets carries a risk that those will get out, one way or another. Finally, there's always a risk that someone claims Xilio is infringing on their intellectual property. Beyond that, they are reliant on contract research organizations and CMOs. So any problems with those third parties, such as not meeting regulatory requirements, could cause big issues. Finally, they note that their competitors could discover, develop, or commercialize products before them. If that happens, it'll be tough to compete. So what is my take on Xilio? Well, the science is compelling and they've got a clinically validated platform, but that cash position is a major concern. They need more money, either through partnerships or more financing. The AbbVie deal is a great start, but they are still far away from the clear. On top of that, their product candidates still have a lot to prove in the clinic. Overall, they are a high-risk, high-reward biotech with a lot of ground to cover. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Xilio Therapeutics, please hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and let me know what company I should decode next in the comments below.